one point or another, it becomes sort of an obsession, or having an experience with the supernatural becomes an entertainment in itself.
Yeah.
Thailand is an ancient kingdom with many epic myths and legends. Buddhism is the main belief system. But long before Buddhism came to this country, reverence of ghosts and spirits prevailed. Now, traditional Buddhist beliefs live side by side with ancient spirit worship. One of Thailand's biggest grossing films is a ghost story based on a legendary icon. The 1999 film Nang Nak, or Story of Nak, tells the tale of the terrifying and powerful ghost, May Nak. May Nak is a young woman who dies in childbirth while her husband is away at war. When her husband returns, he finds her and their baby are there to welcome him. But while he thinks everything is normal, the rest of the village and the audience know that May Nak is a ghost. And anyone who gets in the way of her and the husband that she loves will suffer her wrath. The story of the ghost of May Nak is something that every child in Thailand grows up with. Thais believe that May Nak was a real woman who lived in the Prakanong River district. The ghost of May Nak has become a classic figure of horror in Thailand, like Dracula or Frankenstein. But unlike her Western counterparts, May Nak is also a figure of worship and respect. This is the Mahabut temple outside Bangkok. It's believed that the site of this shrine is her final resting place. Here people come to worship and pray to the ghost of May Nak. May Nak's loyalty to her family after death means she has a special place in the hearts and minds of Thai people.
I think she'd be worshipped partly because she is this strong figure of womanhood in Nang Nak. There's her strength as the good wife, as a good model of femininity, even though she's also a scary figure, but at the same time she's a figure of the faithful wife. And another struggle that's present in the film is between her female will and the patriarchal institutions of Buddhism. That the monks have to keep telling her, you need to back off and stick with the Buddhist order, stick with the law, stick with the patriarchal line, which is in charge, in power in this country. And she keeps fighting that throughout the film. She insists on, no, what about my family? What about our love? What about our connection? And the film gives voice to that, gives voice to this other set of authority, this other perspective.
Many Thai horror films of the past have depicted May Nak as a bloodthirsty ghoul out for revenge. Director Non Zee's version brought the familiar legend to life as a period drama based on historical research.
Nang Nak is like Titanic. Everyone knows that Titanic will capsize. It's the same for Thais. They know that Nang Nak is a ghost. How can I take a story that everyone knows and make it interesting? It's through historical research that we made it come to life.
Nonzi's research took him to the Mahabodh temple. Legend has it that Mainak's footprints were on the ceiling here. In the film, we see her appearing to a frightened crowd. She's hanging from the ceiling. The film's historical detail and realism was the first time that the legendary Mainak was brought to life in such a believable way. Such was the fear this triggered in audiences that people were frightened of the actress who played Mainak, Indira Chirampura.
At a screening of the film, I came out of the theater a bit earlier. I saw a woman carrying her child out, and when the child saw me, he burst into tears. I wanted to comfort him, but he just cried even more because he remembered me as the ghost in the film. No matter what the mother did, he just wouldn't stop crying.
Nonzi found the horror not by making Mainak a monster, but by using Thai superstitions about the natural world to create a fear surrounding her.
I use the atmosphere because the fear comes from the surrounding and not from the ghost of Mainak herself. We tried to make the film feel like going back in time 100 years, using mood, ambience, and Thai beliefs. Like when we see the scene with a spider beating against the wall, people react to this because it is a real Thai belief. So all of this atmosphere contributed to a deeper fear.
Although Nang Nak has moments of terror, the ghost has real human emotions and feelings which the audience can relate to.
The emphasis on this film is not so much just Nang Nak as a horrific character, but in exploring the psychology of the characters, he's forced to look at the scenes which are specifically focalized through her, where we have her perspective and no one else's perspective, which is not typical of the monster or horror film. As we go see her looking at the mirror and see her realizing her hair is falling out and her crying, are scenes where she realizes, oh, I'm a ghost, my husband doesn't know it yet, I'm concerned about this, he's going to find out. We're forced to sympathize with her in her situation, even though at other moments she's also the figure of horror.
I feel that this woman is very pitiful because she loves her husband very much. For a woman to love a man even after death is something that should be honored, not condemned. It's this idea that motivated me and gave me inspiration to make this film.
It is this profound belief in the story they were telling that meant the film captured the essence of why Mainak is both feared and revered in Thailand. Traditional legends will always have a place in horror cinema, whether it be Dracula or Nang Nak. But as countries like Thailand move from the rural to the urban, ghost stories are moving away from folktales to modern media. And one of the scariest recent movies from Thailand features images of ghosts caught on film.